Tonight, controversy at the state capitol.
A satanic display is raising eyebrows, but the governor says he can't take it down. The group of Minnesota Satanists put up its first ever holiday display at the Capitol over the weekend. They say its members don't actually worship Satan or believe in Satan, but called the display a win for religious plurality. Republicans blame the governor for letting it go up. Representative Tom Emmer tweeted, "Is there anything Tim Walz won't do to insult Minnesotans?" Representative Pete Sauber said, "When you get a DFL trifecta, you get a satanic display at our state capitol. During the holidays, what a disgrace. Only in Walz's Minnesota." We reached out to the governor's office. They said the governor does not agree with the display and did not approve it, but the First Amendment means that he does not police speech in the state capitol.
So right now in the state of Minnesota, you've got Christian things that are relevant to Christians, things that are symbolisms of Christianity being destroyed at the state capitol, broken down, destroyed. Nobody cares about it. While at the same time, you've got Satanists putting up monuments in the state capitol of Minnesota. Is there any wonder when we see these Democrats that are pushing for lawlessness, that are pushing for open borders, that are pushing for chaos? Is there any surprise to us when we find out that Satanists heavily support the Democrat Party, i.e. Tampon Tim? Now, I want you to check out this article here, and then I'm going to show you some videos of some, you talk about offensive things that are going on, not just in Minnesota. Do your research in state capitals around the country. You have got these Satanist temples that are being put up in the state capitals, and they're saying, oh, it's the First Amendment. When this country was founded on Christian values, and if you noticed over the years, they just been eroding away and eroding away, all the way now where we got governors like Tampon Tim putting tampon machines in boys' bathrooms as if young boys menstruate. We've got people acting as if young men can have babies. Thank goodness in the UK, some sanity just came out because their Supreme Court just made it law that a transgender woman is not a woman. And it's like in most countries around the world, this is just common sense things. But here in America, oh, we want to put the battle. This is bizarro world where what is up is down and what's down is up. You know, men want to be women. That's what they are. Open borders is a good thing to just let everybody pile on in and giving them away free stuff. Defunding the police makes a whole lot of sense, especially when you see crime is through the roof. The crap that the Democrats push in this country is just insane. So let me share some of this article with you, and then I'm going to show you these video clips and the special tribute that the Satanists gave to Tampon Tim. It's going to blow your mind. So check this out. So this article, Christian display dismantled, Minnesota State Capitol group, Grove Heights man cited. Let's go down and check this story out. A religious display outside of the Minnesota State Capitol depicting the Ten Commandments and a cross was vandalized and dismantled earlier this week, according to the Minnesota State Patrol. The patrol says that at about 3:15 p.m. on a Monday, a trooper responded to a call of criminal damage to property on the Capitol grounds. There, the trooper found a display that included a wooden cross and a representation of the Ten Commandments had been taken apart and partially strewn upon the Capitol lawn. And there's a picture of it right here. That's it right there. Investigators say that the display had been permitted to be there. The Minnesota State Patrol said a trooper issued a citation to a 36-year-old man from Inner Grove Heights on suspicion of criminal damage to property. The investigation remains open, Patrol said. This isn't the first time a religious display has resulted in controversy at the Capitol building. Last year, a satanic holiday, a satanic holiday display presented there during a Christmas holiday season raised hackles. You think? A number of elected Republicans, including U.S. Reps Tom Emmer, the majority whip in the House, and Pete Stuber, criticized Governor Tim Walz for allowing the display, but he does not sign off on such matters. Walz also said that the display was protected by the First Amendment. Walz says a lot of BS. As a matter of fact, let me show you this clip of what the Satanists actually gave to Tim Walz as something special for him that they wanted him to have. So as you see here, satanic worshipers have honored the Democrat governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, with a plaque celebrating his refusal to oppose the spread of Satanism at the state capitol. Isn't that special? The plaque's inscription says, Satan has a special place reserved for Governor Tim Walz. You cannot make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Check this out.
Media is this plaque in honor of our governor, Tim Walz. And it is from people that are supportive of his efforts. And there it is. Right here in the East Hall, lower level. And it reads, the Democratic Coalition of Satan Worshipers thanks Governor Tim Walz for not standing in the way of spreading Satanism in the state capitol building. Satan has a special place for you. And that's what it says.
If you enjoyed this video, do me a solid and hit that like button, because I'll never ask you for a cash app or a super chat, but you hitting that like button, it really does help the channel. And if you aren't subscribed, subscribe. And once you do, make sure you hit the notification bell and select all. And that way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Tell me that that isn't the craziest thing that you have ever seen. Literally a governor getting a tribute, a satanic tribute in the state capitol that ends off with Satan has a special place for you. And you know what? Nothing probably could be more truer than that statement for Governor Tim Walz. But think about the insanity, all this stuff going on around the country. And look at what these Democrats fight for. And we have to ask ourselves, like, what about anything they're doing seems like it's for the betterment of anybody? It seems like everything that they're about is the opposite of normality, is the opposite of peaceful. These people wake up looking for things to hate, looking for somebody to fight. Do you know how miserable you have to be to just wake up and just know you're going to be anti everything anybody does? Anybody that's outside of your little circle, all you're about is hating, canceling, disagreeing, and fighting every day. Even when good things come and they happen, you're so filled with hate. You got so much Trump derangement in you that you can't even celebrate a win. So if you can't celebrate an actual win, that means you never celebrate, because everything else is misery and suffering. So you can't celebrate a win, and your team's been taking nothing but losses. Life is miserable for these left-wing extremists. And there's one word that I said that I would no longer use, because one of the viewers by the name of Connie, you know, she pointed out to me that one of the terms that I use, which refers to a handicap by some people, libtard, that could be offensive. And you know what? She was right. But these left-wing extremists, son of a you-know-whats, get on my nerves. Now check out this next clip from the news media out there in Minnesota and how they categorize what's going on. You talk about mind blown, mind will be blown. Check this out.
Satanic holiday display at the state capitol has a lot of people talking. The group behind it says it's all about the First Amendment and bringing joy to the community.
But others say that it's downright offensive, and somebody even knocked it over and vandalized it. Fox 9's Mike Manzoni live in St. Paul tonight, and others also blaming Governor Walz for this display. Mike?
Yeah, but the governor actually has nothing to do with this, and his office says he doesn't support it.
Left-wing extremist media trying to cover up for his satanic worship himself.
Inside the Minnesota State Capitol, just across the hall from the Christmas tree, you'll find this phoenix made out of paper. The elaborate display features a hanging pentagram and several small cranes. A group called Minnesota Satanists put it up, and not everyone's happy about it.
The message that they're sending is quite literally to hell with the sacred.
Republican State Representative Walter Hudson finds the whole thing offensive, especially during the holidays.
You have an intentionally profane display, very obviously intended to thumb a nose at those of us who are celebrating our holiest days.
But Hudson isn't alone. Republican Congressman Tom Emmer asked on social media, is there anything Tim Walz won't do to insult Minnesotans? But Governor Walz has nothing to do with it. Fox 9 obtained the application for the display from the Minnesota Department of Administration. That agency, not the governor, approved it. The governor's office sent us a statement saying he does not agree with the display and did not approve it, but the First Amendment means that he does not police speech in the state capitol.
If there isn't
You ever notice that these Democrats, they love to try to hide behind the same things that they want to stop when it's for their benefit? Now, during the pandemic, they did not like free speech. Anybody that was talking about what they wanted to talk about, whether it be ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, they wanted to shut it down. They wanted them censored. If it was conservative speech, they wanted it shut down. Anybody talking about Biden's mental cohesiveness, they wanted it shut down. But then when it's something that's highlighting Satanism, or something that's highlighting open borders, they're all about the First Amendment then. These folks get on my nerves with oh my God, they're such hypocrites. I don't know how they can look themselves in the mirror, Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi and these fake,
a standard by which to determine what is good and what is bad, then there's no point in us being there.
And Minnesota Satanists did not want to talk with us for this story. The group, though, did send us a statement saying in part, quote, "Our goal was representation, bringing joy and beauty to the community, as well as utilizing our First Amendment right. We chose the state capitol because we wanted to utilize a location that allows for religious plurality, I should say. The group says it does not worship or even believe in Satan. The display will stay up through December 27th. We're live in St. Paul tonight. Mike Manzoni, Fox 9.
New tonight. All the craziness going on, and again, you got it in Illinois. Just go around and dig into the state capitals around the country and look at how many have what's called a Baphomet sitting in their state capital, which is worshiping Lucifer. Okay, and you got Governor Tim Walz, who also loves China, the communist country. So you put those two together. He's loved by Satanists. He also loves communism. That is a mix for destruction of a country. And Kamala Harris is right there with him. She loves the Chinese, and them Satanists, sure enough, but they really have an affinity for her. Remember, when somebody said Christ is King and Jesus is Lord in her rally, they were booted out. She told them, "Oh, y'all at the wrong rally. Y'all meant to be at the one up the street, the one where President Trump was giving glory to the Most High God," right? Democrats, they're all about men in dresses. I mean, think about what's going on in California with the whole 10-year rule, where anybody with a minor between 14 and 17 years old, as long as you're only 10 years older than them and the child gives consent, it is a law that you do not get in trouble as a PDF file. It's a law in California. They're working to protect the PDF files. Look about what they did to the sanctity of marriage, which was between a man and a woman. They threw that out and said, no. Anybody should be able to do it, whoever they are, 2 men, 2 women, whatever. And Christians just being so passive in love weak, we just let it happen. They don't do that type of stuff in Saudi Arabia and in the Muslim countries. They're not having it, whether you agree with Islam or not. They do not play around with their religion. You're not coming over there telling them that y'all women gonna wear short skirts and start drinking alcohol and talking crazy, twerking all over the place. You're gonna get beheaded and won't make it off the street. But over here, they'll come and break up crosses and tear down Christian things and dance on the Bible. And then put all of their heathenistic and satanistic things on display and dare anybody to be offended by it. Well, I'm offended by it. And that's why I made a pledge some years ago. There was some time when I would be, I own a sales training company. So when we be training and doing stuff professionally, I would say, you don't speak about God when you're on the bike. You don't want to offend anybody. But I started noticing anybody that didn't believe in God didn't mind offending me or anybody else in the crowd when they wanted to talk about it, whether that was at professional settings, at conferences or not. So I started saying, you know what? All money ain't good money. I'd rather not do any business with anybody that doesn't have morals and doesn't have ethical beliefs or standards or something like that. So if a person doesn't believe in the Most High, and I do, and that affects our ability to do business, so be it. I believe in the Heavenly Father, so I know I will be all right. So we got to stop bowing and bending to these folks. But I just wanted to bring you this story. With everything going on, we can never again fall asleep and be swayed by these Democrat extremist Satanists. These people, oh my God, these people are evil. Look at what they tried to do to President Trump and look at what they tried to do to us. And now you got Doge, President Trump, everybody taking a wrecking ball to that swamp, to the deep state, as they should. So if you've watched this far, I just want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know I've been out of the loop. The wife and I just moved A lot going on, but I wanted to let you know I'm getting back in my groove, back in my cycle. I'm in this room right now. I'll be doing it in another room, my podcast, picking it up from another room, just trying to see which area is going to work best for me as we get everything set up. But if you stayed, appreciate you. Remember to like the video, leave a comment, tell me what you think, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Most importantly, make sure that you be safe and you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.